Welcome back to GrimFace Financial, where we don't sugarcoat reality, we face it head-on. To our returning warriors, thank you for standing with the GrimFace movement. You already know what we're about: brutal honesty, relentless motivation, and the tools to break free from the system. And to our new viewers, welcome to the family. If you're ready to challenge the norms, take control of your life, and forge a path to financial independence, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and join us. We're just getting started. Today, we want to talk directly to those of you starting at ground zero. Maybe you're at the bottom, looking up, wondering how you're going to climb out of the hole you're in. Maybe you're tired, beaten down, and unsure where to even begin. We've been there. We know that feeling. And this video is for you. We're here to give you insight, not into some fantasy life, but into how to choose the right path, the one that aligns with your energy, your strength, and your vision. This isn't just about making money. This is about building a life you can sustain, a life where you wake up every day ready to fight, ready to push, ready to win. So buckle up, because in this video, we're not just giving you advice. We're handing you the tools to weaponize your potential. Let's talk about how to choose your path, maintain your energy, and face every battle life throws at you with the resolve of a warrior. This is GrimFace Financial. This is the movement. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Life is a design problem. Listen closely. Your life is not a set of instructions. There is no manual, no blueprint, no perfect mold waiting for you to fill it. Life is chaos wrapped in uncertainty, stitched together by the endless string of choices you make. Every decision, every turn, every mistake, it's all on you. And that's not a burden. It's your power. Life is a design problem. It demands your creativity. It dares you to innovate. It pushes you to face the void of the unknown and carve meaning from its depths. But here's the dark truth. You cannot stand still. The moment you stop designing, the moment you refuse to act, life designs itself for you. And it is ruthless. It will make your choices for you. Choices based on fear, on stagnation, on default settings. It will turn you into a passive participant in your own existence. Is that who you are? Is that what you want? No, that's not you. You are the designer. You are the architect of your existence. But make no mistake, this is not a path for the faint of heart. There is no right way to live. There is no guarantee that your plans will work. You will fall, you will fail, and then you will rebuild. Because that's what great designers do. They iterate. They learn from what doesn't work. They adjust, they adapt, and they rise. Stop waiting for permission to start. There is no permission slip. There is no perfect time. You will never have all the answers, and you don't need them. You just need to begin. Look at your life. Look at the mess, the pain, the wasted potential. See it for what it is. Not a failure, but raw material. The clay is in your hands. What will you mold it into? Ask yourself, what do I want my life to feel like? Not what society wants, not what your family expects, not what tradition dictates, but you. What ignites your soul? What keeps you up at night? Forget what you think you should do. Focus on what you must do. Because deep down, you already know. The answer is inside you. It always has been. The question is, are you brave enough to act on it? Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Your first draft will be ugly. Your first attempt will fall short. And that's fine. That's how design works. You build, you break, you refine, over and over again. Life isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a step forward if you have the courage to keep moving. But beware of the lie of certainty. There is no single path. There is no ultimate formula. Life is not a straight line. It's a labyrinth. Embrace the uncertainty. Relish the unknown. Treat it as an opportunity to create, to experiment, to discover. The only certainty in life is that it will end. So stop wasting time trying to get it right. You don't need to get it right. You need to get it yours. You are the designer of your destiny. Every day, every choice, every moment is an iteration. You can shape a life that is authentic, meaningful, and yours. If you are willing to face the fear, take the risk, and step into the unknown. So what will it be? Will you let life design you? Or will you rise, take the tools in your hands, and design something extraordinary? The choice is yours. It always has been. Now, act. Lesson 2. Reframe the problem. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel paralyzed by the weight of a question that seems too big to answer? You're not alone. This is the trap most people fall into. They keep asking the wrong question. Over and over, they circle the same doubts, the same fears, the same flawed premise, hoping for a revelation that will never come. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get unstuck by spinning your wheels. You get unstuck by reframing the problem. You've been told to find your passion, haven't you? To seek some magical, singular calling that will unlock your happiness and purpose. But here's the hard truth no one wants to admit. Most people don't have a singular passion. Most people don't wake up one day with a crystal clear vision of their purpose. And that's okay, because the question itself is wrong. Instead of asking, "What is my passion?" a question that keeps you trapped in indecision, ask this: what can I experiment with that feels meaningful and energizing? Do you see the shift? One question locks you in place, paralyzed by the pressure of finding the right answer. The other sets you free. It opens the door to action, to exploration, to momentum. Life isn't a puzzle with a single solution. It's a playground, full of possibilities waiting for you to try, to fail, to learn, and to grow. But you must understand this. Reframing the problem doesn't mean avoiding it. It means attacking it from a new angle. Most people are too afraid to do this. They cling to their old questions, their old assumptions, because it's easier to stay stuck than to face the unknown. But not you. You're here because you want more. You're here because you're ready to rip apart the old framework and build something stronger. Look at the problem that's holding you back. Look at it hard. Is it really the problem? Or is it the way you're looking at it? Maybe the obstacle isn't in your path. It is the path. Maybe the solution isn't to avoid the struggle, but to embrace it. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And start asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I use this pain as fuel?" Reframing the problem is about reclaiming your power. It's about shifting from a victim mindset to a creator mindset. It's about realizing that the way you see the world shapes the way you live in it. When you change the question, you change the game. And when you change the game, you take control. So stop obsessing over finding your passion. Passion isn't something you discover. It's something you ignite. Passion grows when you experiment, when you engage, when you pour yourself into something meaningful. Passion isn't a destination. It's a byproduct of action. And action begins when you reframe the problem. Instead of asking, "Why am I stuck?" ask, "What small step can I take today to move forward?" Instead of asking, "What is my purpose?" ask, "What excites me enough to try, to fail, and to try again?" Instead of asking, "What do I want to do with my life?" ask, "What can I create with what I have, right here, right now?" Do you see the power in this shift? The answers you seek aren't out there waiting for you. They're within you, waiting to be unlocked. But the key isn't in finding the perfect answer. It's in asking the right question. So ask yourself now, what will I experiment with today? What problem will I reframe? What bold question will I dare to ask? The answers don't matter as much as the act of asking, because every question is a step forward. Every question is a chance to see the world and yourself from a new perspective. Reframe the problem, and you'll reframe your life. The only thing standing in your way is the question you've been too afraid to change. Now, change it and act. Lesson 3. Start where you are. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop dreaming about the future version of yourself, the version that's stronger, richer, happier, or more fulfilled. That version doesn't exist yet, but it could, if you're willing to face the harsh reality of where you are right now. Take a moment and assess your life. Not the sanitized, sugar-coated version you show the world, but the raw, unfiltered truth. Look at it through a lens so sharp it cuts. You can't fix what you refuse to confront. So confront it. Lay it bare. Strip away the lies and excuses. There are 4 pillars holding up your existence: work, play, love, and health. These pillars are your foundation, and you know as well as I do that some of them are cracked, leaning, maybe even crumbling. Let's start with work. Does it drain you or drive you? Are you pouring your energy into something that matters? Or are you trading hours for scraps, barely surviving? Be honest. Are you stuck in the trap of comfort, settling for less, because the thought of risking more terrifies you? If your work doesn't challenge you, fulfill you, or push you to grow, it's not work. It's a slow death. Now look at play. And don't fool yourself. Play isn't a luxury. It's where your soul breathes. When was the last time you felt joy? Real joy. When was the last time you did something not because you had to, but because it made you feel alive? Or have you let the grind of survival rob you of this too? Then there's love. And I'm not just talking about romance. I'm talking about connection. The way you give and receive love in every part of your life. Do the people around you lift you up or weigh you down? Are you surrounded by support, or do you feel utterly alone, even in a crowded room? And here's the hardest question. Are you capable of loving yourself? Because if you're not, every other relationship is doomed to fail. Finally, there's health. Not just your body, but your mind, your spirit. Are you treating yourself like the engine of your destiny, or the trash heap of your bad decisions? Look at what you eat, how you move, how you think. Are you nurturing your body and mind, or are you slowly poisoning them with neglect? Now, look at the whole picture. Which of these pillars is strong? Which of them is crumbling under the weight of your neglect, your excuses, your fears? You cannot ignore the cracks and expect the structure to hold. You cannot build a life worth living on a foundation that's rotting from within. But here's the thing. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Right here, right now, with what you have. No more waiting for the stars to align or the perfect opportunity to appear. No more waiting for some mythical version of yourself to show up and save the day. That version of you isn't coming. You have to create it. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to fix everything at once. But you do need to take action. Pick one area, just one, and ask yourself, what can I do today to make it better? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Today. Because here's the truth most people won't admit. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. If you're waiting for permission, for a sign, for some external force to lift you out of the hole you're in, you'll die waiting. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And let me be clear, it won't be easy. You will falter. You will doubt yourself. You will feel the weight of every bad decision you've ever made pressing down on you. But that weight is also your power. It's the fuel that will drive you, if you let it. So stop looking at what you don't have and start using what you do. Your life is your responsibility. Your choices are your weapon. Every moment you waste is a moment you'll never get back. Start where you are and keep moving. Because the only thing worse than failing is standing still. Your foundation can be rebuilt. Your pillars can be strengthened, but only if you're willing to do the work. No one else can save you. No one else can fix you. It's on you. It always has been. So what will you do? Will you let the cracks grow until everything collapses? Or will you rise, brick by brick, and build a life worth living? The choice is yours. Start now. Start where you are, or don't. But understand this, the life you have tomorrow depends on what you do today. Lesson 4, the Odyssey Plan. Your life is not a single thread, neatly woven into the fabric of destiny. It's a web, a vast interconnected network of possibilities, most of which you've been too afraid or too blind to explore. You tell yourself, there's one path, one plan, one future. But what happens when that plan crumbles? What happens when the life you've carefully constructed collapses under the weight of unforeseen chaos? Here's the truth. No plan is invincible. No path is guaranteed. The road you're on right now could end abruptly, without warning. What then? Will you stand frozen at the edge of the abyss, paralyzed by the loss of your so-called certainty? Or will you rise, unshaken, with another path already in mind? This is why you need an Odyssey plan. Not just one plan, but three. 3 visions for your life. 3 futures to remind you that no matter what happens, you have options. Because power comes from preparedness, and freedom comes from knowing you are never trapped. Plan 1. What you're doing now. Let's start with the path you're already on. The one you cling to because it feels safe, familiar. Ask yourself, is it what you truly want? Or is it just the path of least resistance? Is this plan driven by purpose? Or is it fueled by fear of the unknown? Lay it out. Write it down. Every goal, every milestone, every step you think you'll take over the next 5 years. Now ask yourself, if this plan were to succeed, would it bring you closer to the life you actually want? Or is it just a placeholder, a way to avoid the discomfort of confronting what you really desire? Plan 2. If this path disappeared tomorrow. Now imagine this. The life you know, the work, the relationships, the structure, vanishes overnight. Gone. What then? What would you do if the foundation you've built were ripped out from under you? Would you crumble, or would you pivot? This plan isn't about doom or despair. It's about resilience. It's about asking yourself, what's my next move when the ground falls away? You can't control life's chaos, but you can prepare for it. Think about the skills you've ignored, the dreams you've buried, the opportunities you've dismissed. What could you resurrect if necessity demanded it? This isn't a backup plan. This is survival. This is power. When you know what you'd do if the unthinkable happened, you strip uncertainty of its ability to paralyze you. You take the chaos and turn it into fuel. Plan 3. If money and expectations meant nothing. And now, the most dangerous question of all. What would you do if nothing held you back? No fear, no financial limits, no societal expectations, no judgment. Most people are too afraid to even think about this. They've spent so long shackled by should and must that they've forgotten how to dream. But not you. Not anymore. Strip away the limits. Ask yourself, what life would I create if I had the audacity to be honest about what I want? This isn't about fantasy. It's about vision. It's about exploring the life that could be. The life you've always told yourself was impossible. Because here's the truth. The only thing standing between you and that life is fear. And fear is nothing but a shadow. A phantom that vanishes when you step into it. The power of 3. When you create these 3 plans, you shatter the illusion of a single path. You realize that your life is not a straight line. It's a vast, uncharted sea. And with every plan you craft, you become the captain of your ship. You are no longer at the mercy of the winds. You choose your course. But let me warn you, this exercise is not for the faint of heart. It will force you to confront the lies you've told yourself. It will demand that you admit how small you've been playing, how many dreams you've abandoned out of fear. And once you see those truths, you cannot unsee them. Once you acknowledge the paths you've ignored, you cannot return to your old excuses. You will be forced to act, to choose, to create. So what will you do? Will you cling to the illusion of safety? Or will you embrace the infinite possibilities before you? Will you let fear dictate your life? Or will you take the pen and write your own odyssey? The future is unwritten. The paths are endless. But the choice is yours. Always yours. Now take the first step. Write your plans. Expand your vision. And when the storm comes, as it always does, you will not falter. You will not break. You will rise. Lesson 5. Prototyping your life. Why are you waiting? Waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect answer? You tell yourself you need more time, more certainty, more guarantees. But deep down, you know the truth. Waiting is just fear in disguise. It's the story you tell yourself to avoid taking action. Life doesn't reward hesitation. It doesn't hand success to those who sit and dream, paralyzed by the weight of their own indecision. No. Life rewards those who move, those who act, those who dare to experiment without knowing exactly how it will end. This is where prototyping comes in. Stop thinking of your life as a one-shot deal. It's not a fragile glass that shatters if you make the wrong choice. Life is clay, malleable, messy, and full of potential. And the only way to shape it into something extraordinary is to get your hands dirty. Prototyping is how you do it. You don't need to make big, irreversible decisions to change your life. You don't need to burn everything to the ground overnight. You just need to start small, to take bold but manageable steps. Are you curious about a career? Don't waste months or years wondering if it's right for you. Shadow someone in the field. Volunteer. Take an entry-level class. Get a taste of it. Prototyping is about dipping your toe in the water before diving headfirst into the unknown. Do you feel stuck in your current routine, longing for something more? Try something new, a hobby, a skill, a side project. Stop obsessing over whether it's worth it or whether it will lead to something tangible. Prototyping isn't about guarantees. It's about discovery. The act of trying is what reveals the next step. And what about those dreams you've buried? The ones you're too afraid to even think about? Prototyping gives you permission to explore them, to bring them out into the light. You don't need to commit to the whole dream at once. Just take a piece of it, test it, play with it, see where it leads. But here's the dark truth. Most people will never do this. They'll stay stuck, paralyzed by the illusion of permanence. They'll spend their lives waiting for clarity, for certainty, for permission. And they'll never realize that clarity doesn't come first. Action does. Clarity is the result of moving forward, of trying, of failing, of learning. Don't be like them. Don't let fear keep you frozen. Prototyping is your weapon against the paralysis of indecision. It's how you take control of your life, one small experiment at a time. But let me warn you, prototyping isn't safe. It's not comfortable. When you try something new, you risk failing. You risk realizing that what you thought you wanted isn't what you want at all. And that's terrifying. But it's also liberating, because every failure brings you closer to the truth. Every experiment, no matter how small, moves you forward. So stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for life to hand you answers. Start where you are, with what you have, and prototype your way to the life you want. Do it now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Choose one thing, a curiosity, a passion, a goal, and take the smallest step toward it. Write that email. Sign up for that class. Have that conversation. The step doesn't matter as much as the act of stepping. This is your life. It's not a single choice. It's a series of experiments, 1,000 iterations that will shape your future. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Because the harsh reality is this: if you don't prototype your life, life will prototype you. It will test you, push you, and mold you into someone else's vision of who you should be. The choice is yours. Will you let life happen to you? Or will you take the reins and design it yourself? The only way to know what's possible is to try. The only way to move forward is to act. So, act. Experiment. Prototype your life, and let the process reveal the path. Let your small steps carve out a destiny that is uniquely, authentically yours. No one else will do it for you. No one else can. This is your moment. Take it and move. Lesson 6. Fail forward. Failure. The word itself feels heavy, doesn't it? A weight you carry, a shadow that follows you, a stain you try to scrub from your existence. Society taught you to fear it, to avoid it, to run from it at all costs. But what they didn't tell you is that failure is not your enemy. It is your greatest weapon. Failure is not the end of your journey. It is the gateway to everything you've ever wanted. The problem is not that you fail. It's that you've been taught to see failure as final. It's not. Failure is fuel. It's data. It's the sharp blade that cuts through the illusions you've been clinging to, exposing the raw, unfiltered truth. And that truth? It's the only thing that will ever set you free. But here's the hard part. Failure hurts. It burns. It humiliates. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because only in those moments of pain and discomfort do you truly grow. Only when you're stripped of your ego, your excuses, your delusions, can you see what you're really made of. When you fail, you have two choices. You can let it break you, let it define you, let it become the end of your story. Or you can let it sharpen you, let it forge you into something stronger, something unshakable. Because every time you fail, you are given a gift, a chance to learn, to adapt, to refine your path. Failure is the price of progress. Do you think the greats, the ones who inspire you, the ones who've achieved what you dream of, do you think they avoided failure? No, they failed more than anyone else. But they didn't stop there. They didn't let their failures bury them. They stood up, they analyzed, they adapted, and they moved forward. Fail forward. Don't just endure failure. Use it. Dissect it. Extract every lesson it has to offer. Ask yourself, why did this happen? What can I do differently next time? How can I turn this into an advantage? Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're on the edge of something bigger. And here's the truth. Most people won't admit. The more you fail, the closer you get to success. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to it. Every failure carves the road a little further, shows you the cracks in your plan, and forces you to rebuild stronger. But you have to keep moving. That's the key. Most people fail and stop. They let the pain of their misstep paralyze them. But not you. You're not most people. You will fail, and then you will rise. You will fail, and then you will push forward. You will fail, and then you will conquer. Ask yourself, what am I so afraid of? Humiliation, disappointment, pain. Those are temporary. Regret is forever. You can fail 1,000 times and still rise. But if you let the fear of failure stop you, you'll never even begin. And that is the only true failure. So fail. Fail spectacularly. Fail again and again and again. Because each time you do, you're one step closer to becoming the person you're destined to be. Failure is the forge where greatness is born. It's not your enemy, it's your ally. Embrace it, learn from it, and most importantly, move forward. This is your moment. Take the risk. Make the leap. Chase the dream, even if it terrifies you. Because no matter how many times you fall, you will always have the power to rise. But only if you keep going. Only if you refuse to quit. Fail forward. And when the world tries to bury you under the weight of your mistakes, remind them, you are unbreakable. Failure isn't your end. It's your beginning. It's the fire that will ignite the unstoppable force within you. Now go. Fail boldly. Fail loudly. Fail forward. And watch as you become unstoppable. Lesson 7. Follow energy, not just passion. They tell you to find your passion, to chase it relentlessly, to build your life around it. But what if you don't feel passionate about anything? What if passion feels like a flickering candle in a dark room, always just out of reach? You're not broken. You're not lost. You're asking the wrong question. Stop chasing passion. It's a mirage. It's fleeting. It's unreliable. Passion may ignite you for a moment, but it won't sustain you when the nights are long and the road is hard. Passion burns bright, but energy is the current that keeps you alive. If you want to build a life worth living, follow your energy, not just your passion. Pay attention to the things that light you up, that wake you up, that make the hours disappear. And just as importantly, notice the things that drain you, the things that leave you hollow, exhausted, and numb. Your energy is the compass. It doesn't lie. It doesn't care about what's trendy, or what looks good on paper, or what others expect of you. It points to what's real, to what sustains you, to what makes you feel alive. But here's the dark truth most people ignore. Sometimes, what gives you energy isn't glamorous. It's not what you thought you'd be doing, or what society celebrates. And sometimes, the things you think you're supposed to love, the things you've convinced yourself you're passionate about, are the very things that drain you. Be ruthless in your honesty. What truly fuels you? What activities, conversations, or challenges make you feel like you're tapping into something deeper? And what, no matter how hard you try, always leaves you empty? Stop clinging to things that deplete you just because they sound impressive or fit the narrative you've been told to follow. Following your energy doesn't mean taking the easy path. It doesn't mean avoiding discomfort or challenges. Energy isn't about ease. It's about alignment. It's about pursuing the things that, even when they're hard, leave you feeling fulfilled, powerful, and alive. Think about it. How many people are stuck in jobs they hate, in relationships that suffocate them, in routines that slowly drain their soul, because they're chasing a passion they can't even feel anymore. Don't let that be you. Don't let the lie of passion trap you in a life that isn't yours. Start small. Pay attention. Notice when your energy spikes and when it crashes. Follow the threads. Experiment. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the first step. Energy is a guide, not a destination. It will lead you if you're willing to listen. And let me warn you, following your energy won't make everyone happy. It won't make sense to those who are stuck chasing hollow passions or living lives of quiet desperation. But you don't owe them an explanation. This is your life, your path, your energy. So ask yourself, what gives me life? What makes me feel unstoppable, even when it's difficult? What leaves me drained, even when it's supposed to be fun? And what am I going to do about it? This isn't about following a map. It's about creating one. It's about stepping into the unknown, guided only by the spark inside you. And that spark, no matter how small, will grow into a fire if you let it. Forget passion. Follow energy. Let it pull you forward. Let it reshape your life. Because energy is the truth. Energy is the force that will carry you through every storm, every setback, every dark night of the soul. Follow it. Trust it. And watch as it leads you to a life that feels more real, more powerful, and more you than anything you ever thought possible. Passion fades. Energy endures. And you are meant to endure. Now go. Follow the current. Let it take you where you need to go. Your energy is waiting. Your life is waiting. All you have to do is move. Lesson 8. Radical collaboration. Let me tell you something you don't want to hear. You are not strong enough to do this alone. You are not wise enough, not skilled enough, not experienced enough. And that's not an insult. It's a truth you must face if you ever hope to build a life that's bigger than your fears, your doubts, or your limitations. You've been sold a lie. The lie of independence. The lie that strength means never asking for help. That success is a solo mission. That to lean on others is to show weakness. But look around you. Look at the world. Every empire, every masterpiece, every revolution, it was built on collaboration. No one succeeds alone. No one. You can try to design your life in isolation. You can lock yourself in a room with your ambitions, your plans, your dreams. But without feedback, without challenge, without support, those dreams will rot. They will wither under the weight of your own blind spots and insecurities. Radical collaboration is the key. It's not about simply asking for advice or hoping for a helping hand. It's about opening yourself up, fully, vulnerably, to the power of others. It's about surrounding yourself with people who will push you, question you, and demand more from you than you ever thought possible. But here's the hard truth. Collaboration is not comfortable. It's not easy. It requires humility. It requires you to admit that you don't have all the answers, that your perspective is limited, that you need others to see what you can't. And that terrifies most people, but not you. You're not afraid of discomfort. You're not afraid to be challenged, to be wrong, to be vulnerable, because you know that growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in the crucible of collaboration. Find your mentors. Seek out the people who have walked the path you're trying to carve. Learn from their scars, their failures, their wisdom. Let them show you what you can't yet see. Lean on your friends, your family, your community, not for validation, but for perspective. Let them point out your blind spots, your weaknesses, your untapped potential. Listen, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, And don't just take, give. Offer your insights, your skills, your energy to those around you. Collaboration is not a one-way street. It's an exchange, a synergy that multiplies what you're capable of. But let me warn you, not everyone is worth collaborating with. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, not those who coddle you. Seek out those who inspire you, not those who drain you. Build a network of warriors, of builders, of visionaries, people who will push you to become more than you are. Collaboration is not about surrendering control. It's about amplifying your power. It's about expanding your vision, your resources, your impact. It's about realizing that your life is not a solo project. It's a shared creation. So stop trying to go it alone. Stop pretending that you can do this without anyone else. Open yourself up. Seek out the minds, the voices, the hands that will help you build something greater than you could ever create on your own. Radical collaboration isn't a weakness. It's a weapon. Use it, wield it, and watch as your life transforms into something you never thought possible. You're not alone. You were never meant to be. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you will unlock the full force of your potential. Now go. Find your allies. Build your circle. Collaborate boldly. And together, create a life that shakes the very foundation of the world. Lesson 9. Mindsets matter. Your mindset is the foundation of your existence. It's the lens through which you see the world, the filter that shapes your thoughts, your decisions, and ultimately, your reality. And let me tell you, if your mindset is weak, if it's brittle, if it's locked in arrogance or fear, you will break. Life doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your comfort or your expectations. It will bend you. It will twist you. It will throw you into the fire again and again. And the only thing that determines whether you rise from the ashes or crumble into dust is the strength of your mindset. Adopt a beginner's mindset. Stop pretending you know it all. Stop clinging to what you think you understand. The moment you believe you figured everything out is the moment you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying. Be curious. Be open. Be humble. Approach life as a student, not a master. But don't mistake humility for weakness. A beginner's mindset doesn't mean you lack confidence. It means you have the courage to admit there's more to learn. It means you're willing to explore, to question, to challenge your assumptions. It means you're not afraid to start over, again and again, until you get it right. And here's the hard truth. Things will not go as planned. They never do. You will face setbacks. You will encounter failure. You will be thrown into situations that test every ounce of your willpower. And in those moments, optimism won't come naturally. Adaptability won't feel easy. But you must cultivate grit and resilience, not because it's convenient, but because it's necessary. Grit is your armor. It's what keeps you moving when the path is dark, when the odds are stacked against you, when every voice in your head screams at you to quit. Grit doesn't care about comfort. It doesn't care about fairness. It only cares about one thing: perseverance and resilience. Resilience is your weapon. It's what allows you to bend without breaking, to absorb the blows life throws at you and keep fighting. Resilience doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means you'll use that pain to fuel your growth. It means you'll take the chaos, the failure, the disappointment, and you'll transform it into power. But let me warn you, this isn't easy. Most people will fold at the first sign of adversity. They'll give up on their dreams, their goals, their potential, because the discomfort is too much for them to bear. But not you. You're here because you know that discomfort is the price of greatness. Your mindset is everything. It's not just about staying positive. It's about staying determined. It's about looking at every challenge, every failure, every setback, and asking, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger, sharper, better? A beginner's mindset keeps you open to possibilities. Grit keeps you moving. Resilience keeps you standing. Together, they make you unstoppable. So ask yourself, what mindset am I bringing to my life? Am I stuck in the comfort of what I already know? Or am I willing to embrace the unknown? Am I letting failure define me? Or am I using it to refine me? Am I bending under the weight of adversity? Or am I standing tall, unshaken? The choice is yours, always yours. Your mindset will either be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. And the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the mindset you choose to adopt. Now go. Be curious. Be gritty. Be resilient. Face the fire. Embrace the chaos. And let your mindset turn every obstacle into an opportunity. Because in the end, it's not your talent, your circumstances, or your luck that will determine your success. It's your mind. And your mind? It's capable of anything. The question is, are you? Lesson 10. Don't get stuck on the one. Let me ask you something. How long have you been chasing the one? The perfect life. The dream job. The flawless path that will somehow make everything make sense. It's a comforting lie, isn't it? The idea that somewhere out there, a single perfect version of your life is waiting for you to find it. But it's just that, a lie. And if you keep chasing it, it will destroy you. There is no one, no singular, golden path that guarantees your happiness or fulfillment. Life isn't a romantic fantasy or a neatly wrapped package waiting to be opened. It's a brutal, chaotic landscape full of possibilities. None of them perfect, but many of them good. The problem is, you've been told to believe in the myth of the one. To believe there's one career, one purpose, one version of success that you're destined for. And because of that, you hesitate. You overthink. You stand paralyzed at the crossroads, terrified of making the wrong choice. But let me tell you something. The real failure isn't choosing the wrong path. The real failure is standing still. It's waiting for some divine clarity that will never come. It's wasting your life on the illusion of perfection while the clock ticks mercilessly on. So here's the truth you need to hear. There are multiple good versions of your life. Not perfect, not without challenges, but good, meaningful, worthwhile. The sooner you let go of the one, the sooner you can start living. Stop obsessing over finding the perfect life and start designing one that feels meaningful right now. Ask yourself, what path excites me? What feels worth exploring? What scares me just enough to make me curious? Choose that. Choose something. And trust that you can redesign later. Because life isn't a fixed blueprint. It's a series of drafts, iterations, experiments. The version of your life that works for you now may not work in 5 years, and that's okay. You're not bound to one choice forever. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to pivot. You're allowed to tear everything down and start over if you need to. But none of that is possible if you refuse to move. None of that is possible if you stay stuck, waiting for perfection to show itself. Perfection doesn't exist. It never did. And chasing it is the fastest way to ensure you end up with nothing. Let go of the one. Embrace the idea of the many. There are countless paths you can take, countless versions of yourself you can become, but you'll never discover them if you're too afraid to take the first step. So stop asking, what's the perfect choice? Start asking, what's the next meaningful choice? Start asking, what can I do now that excites me, challenges me, or brings me closer to what I value? And when you choose, commit. Stop second guessing. Stop wondering if you made the right choice. Trust yourself. Trust that whatever path you take, you have the power to make it meaningful. You have the power to adapt, to learn, to grow. This isn't about settling. It's about freeing yourself. It's about realizing that life isn't a rigid one-way street. It's a labyrinth. And every path you take, every turn you make, leads you deeper into who you are meant to become. So stop waiting. Stop obsessing. Stop searching for the one. Choose a path. Walk it boldly. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? You can choose another. You can redesign. You can rebuild. The only way to fail is to stand still. The only way to lose is to let fear paralyze you. Don't let it. Move forward. Design your life, step by step, knowing that there is no one perfect destination. There is only progress. There is only growth. This is your life, not someone else's, not some idealized fantasy. Yours. So claim it, shape it, live it, and trust that no matter which path you take, you will make it your own. Now go, choose, and don't look back. Lesson 11. Be action-oriented. Overthinking. The silent killer of dreams. The thief that creeps into your mind and whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not ready? What if you make the wrong choice? It feels safe, doesn't it? To sit in the comfort of your own thoughts, analyzing, debating, doubting. But here's the truth. Overthinking is a cage, and every moment you spend trapped in it is a moment you'll never get back. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. It doesn't come from planning, or dreaming, or wishing. Clarity comes from action, from movement, from doing the things that scare you, confuse you, and challenge you. Every step you take, even if it's small, even if it's messy, carves a path forward. But excessive rumination, it's poison. It keeps you frozen, staring at 1,000 possibilities, but committing to none. And while you're busy overanalyzing, the world moves on without you. The opportunities slip through your fingers. The moments pass, and before you know it, you're left with nothing but regret. Do you want that? Do you want to look back on your life and realize you let